This dough should be well combined and fully clearing the bowl. So I'll stop the mixer and give it a quick tug.
Pretty good to use a stand mixer. I love using stand mixer. It does a great job. Probably does a better job than your hands. Working with your hands is nice art. You get to feel it. It's beautiful, it's romantic.
About 175 grams, then 5 grams of salt and 10 grams of sugar. I'll just get...
No. This is building a margarita. It's not margarita. Margarita is a cocktail. It's like if I call you, your name is Brian, and I call you Sam. We're reacting to Brian Lagerstrom, who made a grilled pizza. And he said, there's no oven required. How did you do it? I do have a solution, and I'm coming up with a new recipe for you, making pizza without the oven. Yes, it is possible. Can you do it? Let's find out.
Today, I'm gonna show you an easy way to make a pizza that has an unbelievably dynamic texture and flavor.
The pizza is very, very thin, and I know lots of people like thin pizza. The bottom look very nicely cooked, so looking good so far.
Without turning on your oven. And no, you don't need a fancy outdoor pizza oven, if that's what you're thinking.
It is best to have a nice pizza oven if you have it. If you don't, you can find other solutions, yeah.
But this recipe does require a tool that I think most of you guys already have. But we'll get to that in just a second. To get started, we'll need to make some pizza dough.
It actually looks pretty good. I normally don't like very flat pizzas like that, but I can say it's good. But let's see.
In my stand mixer, I'll combine 400 grams of warm water, 6 grams of instant yeast, 12 grams of salt, 20 grams of sugar, 20 grams of olive oil, and 690 grams of bread flour. Now, the dough hook goes on, and I'll mix this on medium speed for 8 minutes. Since there's such a high volume of dough in the bowl right now, and after 8 minutes, this dough should be well combined and fully clearing the bowl. So I'll stop the mixer and give it a quick tug.
Pretty good to use a stand mixer. I love using stand mixer. It does a great job. Probably does a better job than your hands. Working with your hands is nice art. You get to feel it. It's beautiful, it's romantic. But the stand mixer does a brilliant job.
And I feel like I say this a lot, but you guys know the drill. No tearing, no shearing, it's good to go.
She's sturdy.
Now, right away, I'll flip this mixed dough out of the
It's looking really good.
mixing bowl and then divide it into 4 275 gram sized pieces. From there,
That's good. That's what I normally do for my Napolitan pizza. 270 grams is my favorite size for the pizza bowl.
I'll shape this dough into pizza balls by pushing down to flatten, pulling out
Okay, there's no stretching the pizza bowl. No, it's not doing that. What is it doing?
and folding over each side. Then I'll roll over the top of the dough and flip it onto those folded seams. Make sure to use your fingertips to get the dough nice and tucked up underneath.
I think you're doing a good job. Yeah, you reinforced the pizza bowl.
That little bit of tension goes a long way in creating a well-risen, strong pizza crust. And that looks good. Now, all 4 doughs are gonna go onto a lightly oiled sheet tray.
You don't need the oil. Now, this is very homemade, so great what he's doing. He's using a tray, putting olive oil so it doesn't get stuck. Very, very good advice. You can buy a pizza tray for $20. You can buy a professional pizza tray, the white one, you know, that you seal it. Or you can buy airtight containers, like little ones, and put olive oil, yes, and put individual bowls in each container. Or you can find a smaller version of pizza tray, that professional pizza tray, where you put 4 pizza bowls at a time. If you love making pizzas and make pizza all the time, you must buy a pizza tray. But what he's doing now is a very good trick. I'm just worried about hair going through the sides.
I'll ferment these at room temperature for 30 minutes to give the little yeasties inside some time to wake up before I throw them in the fridge overnight. And after
Right, put them in the fridge overnight. Amazing. I love that.
30 minutes of fermentation, these dough balls have grown just a bit and they've got a little bit of fermentation momentum to carry with them into the next step.
Fantastic, fantastic. So far, so good.
I'll just scoot them over there and then ferment them for as little as 8, but preferably 24 hours. The next day,
Yeah, well said, Brian. Bravo.
90 minutes before my pizza party, I'll pull out my dough. I need a
90 minutes, okay. It depends what pizza you're making, I guess. For me, I would say at least 3-4 hours, simply because I don't want to use rolling pins when I make pizza. The rolling pin will destroy the structure of the pizza, remove all the gases. You basically want the edges to have flavors and to contain all the gases that you need. So I normally stretch my pizza by hand. That's what I want to do. When you wait 24 hours, that's what you want to achieve. To have a nice elastic dough that allows you to stretch it by hand. So using the rolling pin is not a good idea.
let it proof up a little bit more so that it springs while baking, and I also need to let it come up to room temperature. Next, about 30 minutes before.
Oh, okay. That's how you're gonna cook it. Grilled, of course. Barbecue. Well, the barbecue is not an oven, but it works like an oven. So if you say to me, no oven required, then I'm expecting you to cook this on a pan. And that's what I'm gonna show you in my upcoming video where I do a pizza cooked without the oven, where I actually cook it on a pan and it comes out beautiful. So this is a little bit of a, cheating, to be honest, because what's the point use a barbecue? You just put the air conditioning on and use a normal oven at home. But I guess it's fun to use a barbecue, and I want to see what you do.
Before we want to make this pizza, we'll need to preheat our non-oven pizza cooking surface. The secret tool that we're using to cook this pizza is a grill. But there's a few caveats
Oh, thank you for telling me.
I want to mention when it comes to setting up a grill for cooking pizza properly. Number one is you need to make sure that your grill has thick, well-seasoned grates. If it doesn't have this, then your pizza's going to kind of
And that's all cast iron, so the cast iron is good as well.
sag through the grates and get stuck, and that's going to be a huge problem. Number two is you want to make sure that you're setting up 3 distinctive temperature zones. We're going with low heat on the left here, medium heat in the middle, and high heat on the right.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's see what he says.
The burner on the right is going to kind of help us set the temperature of the overall grill, which needs to be about 450 F, by the way, and it's going to help replicate some of the convection.
Okay, that's a way, but not all the barbecues work the same way. I would normally say put the hot stone in the middle and the pizza cooking on a pizza tray, in this case, so it doesn't burn. And then you have the 2 grills on the side giving you the heat. So you got the heat coming from the grills on the sides, and then you have the hot plate cooking the bottom here, you know what I mean? That's what I would do. But I haven't done it, I haven't tasted this yet. This is what I will do, but practically maybe it's different. Let's see.
And the third thing I want to mention is the temperature gradient between the bottom and top of the pizza is quite extreme compared to a regular oven. The bottom of the pizza on the grill is going to get about 75% of the
Actually, it looks pretty good, the bottom. It looks nice and crunchy. I love it.
heat, and so it can burn pretty easily. Make sure you're dropping your
It can burn easily. That's why I suggest use a pizza tray to protect the pizza.
pizza on the low side of the grill so that it doesn't burn. Cut to some B-roll of me burning a pizza real bad.
Alright, see that pizza is kind of burnt, that's not really pleasant. So what I suggest maybe to do here is to have half foil right there in the middle where the pizza will go. So the half foil, aluminum foil, what it will do is will retain the heat, but it prevents for the pizza to burn. And also I have the pizza sitting on baking paper. So you put the pizza on the baking paper and then on the half foil.
Over high heat. Don't do that. Back inside after 90 minutes at room temperature, these pizza doughs have just about doubled in size and they're no longer cold, so they're ready to
Very nice.
shape. But before we build this pizza, we'll need to do some quick prep on the toppings. And in my opinion, this pizza is going to share some of the high temp rustic aesthetics of a wood-fired pizza like Neapolitan. So
That's a good Napolitan pizza. Well done.
we're going to start with that style's baseline pizza.
It's a thin pizza, but people love it. I know lots of you love it. And it's enjoyable. It looks beautiful.
The margarita. That'll show you the dynamics of how this pizza works.
And he said margherita very well. Bravo. Margherita.
The margarita. First, the cheese. I've got a ball of standard issue fresh mozzarella here. No fancy buffalo milk mozz because
Okay. There's not much. It's mozzarella. You don't have to use buffalo mozzarella.
the top of this pizza won't get nearly as hot as is needed to evaporate the amount of milky juice in buff milk mozz. Now, to get this cheese into a form factor suited for this unique cooking
Right, you shred the mozzarella, okay. It depends how fast you're cooking it. I guess in the barbecue, maybe it's best to do that. Maybe like small pieces of mozzarella will cook faster.
environment, I'm gonna grab my box grater and rip it down into something that resembles a grated cheese. But this mozz is too soft to really catch a traditional grate, so
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you're using a fresh mozzarella with milk, you can't really do that, just use your knife.
it'll end up being more of a crumbled fresh mozzarella. In total, we'll need about a pound of grated mozzarella for 4 pizzas. Now, I'll set some aside and then save
The good thing about this is they actually get rid of the milk as well, the water, which you don't want the milk to sit on top of the pizza.
the rest for the other 2 pizzas that I'm going to show you in just a second. Next, let's talk sauce. Again, this pizza isn't going to get the intensity of heat on top that we're used to, and that means less evaporation during the cook. So we need to start with a thicker sauce. To make it, I'll drop a bowl on my scale, tear it out, then measure in 325 grams of a nice tasting crushed tomato.
That's nice, using crushed tomatoes, which is good. And it doesn't look like he's gonna cook the tomato, which is good. When you make pizza, you don't cook the sauce. The sauce doesn't have to be pre-cooked. The sauce has to be fresh because it cooks in the oven. I use peeled tomatoes when I crush myself. In this case, he's using crushed tomatoes. I hope it's a good quality from Italy. And you want to have that kind of fresh to get all these beautiful aromas and flavors. Never pre-cook your sauce, because once you pre-cook your sauce is already cooked, then you can't really put it in the oven because it will burn. You're gonna lose all the fragrance, the flavors.
Not sponsored, but for me, that basically means Bianco di Napoli.
Okay, that looks like it's Napolitan. I hope it's from Napoli.
Then 1 whole little can of tomato paste. That's about
Nah. That's a lot, by the way. But when you have a nice crushed tomato, kind of fresh and thin, don't use that. Don't use paste. No.
about 175 grams, then 5 grams of salt and 10 grams of sugar. I'll just get
No. You don't use sugar. When you have peeled tomatoes or crushed tomatoes, especially from Naples, they're already sweet. You don't put sugar. Never put sugar in the tomato. If your tomato is bad, then you want to make the sofrito with carrots, which gives nice sweetness. But in this case, you do not need sugar, please.
Give that a stir to combine instead of a puree to keep the slightly more coarse, rustic texture of these crushed tomatoes. And there we go.
No, we don't need paste. The tomato paste also needs to be cooked slowly in the salt. They don't do that, sorry. We just don't put tomato paste on pizza.
Require me to turn on my stove and heat up the house. Let's build some pizza! Step one is going to be to carefully lift one of these pizza balls off of my sheet tray. I'll make sure it's well floured, and then I'll do that with my dough scraper, and then I'll drop it onto a well floured cutting board.
It's coming off beautifully. See, the olive oil did a very good job, so well done. He chose to use flour, which is fine. I also suggest you to use semolina, super fine semolina. Flour is good.
Next, I'll give the top a generous dusting of flour. Then I'll use the flat of my hand to flatten this ball a little.
See, the reason why I use semolina is because you don't want to use too much flour. Now, in Naples, very good expert pizza chef, they use flour, minimum amount of flour, and they stretch the pizza. When you're going to add the raw flour to that pizza bowl, you're kind of ruining the pizza bowl, by adding that raw flour, which you don't want, you know what I mean? The semolina kind of comes off, doesn't stick to the pizza as much, to the pizza bowl, then it cooks better in the oven, because if you cook the flour in the oven, or in this case the barbecue, the bottom of your pizza becomes a bit bitter, because the flour turns bitter when you cook it.
This will help pop any large bubbles. And then next, I'll grab my rolling pin and roll out the dough.
I knew I was going to use a rolling pin. I knew he was going to do this.
This step is super easy, you guys. Just keep things well floured and roll it into a decently round 10 to 12 inch circle. That 90-minute post-fridge proof should have warmed up the dough plenty to make stretching it no sweat.
The reason why I don't like to use the rolling pin is because I want my edges to grow. That's how you make a beautiful pizza. If you do want the pizza to be thin, then yes, okay, you can use rolling pin, but you can still stretch it by hand. And then what you do is you press with your hands. More artisan, and I think the hands are a bit more delicate. Like the rolling pin is really stretching the pizza, is really getting rid of all the gases and everything out.
And once the dough is rolled out into a 12-inch round like this.
He said margherita before, but now if you look at the captions here, it says building a margarita. It's not margarita. Margarita is a cocktail. It's like if I call you, your name is Brian, and I call you Sam. Like you Sam or Brian. You're Brian, Sam is someone else. Margarita is a cocktail, margherita is a pizza.
I'll grab my pizza loading peel, douse it with fine semolina flour, then
He did that now, I should have done it before. But that's a lot of semolina, but it's okay.
I'll drop the dough. First thing down is my thick no-cook pizza sauce. I'm gonna try to spread.
No, you don't do that. When you put the sauce, you go in the middle and spread. But that's way too thick after spread. That's because of the paste.
That out as close to the edge as I can get it, but I'll need to be careful because if the sauce runs off while we're cooking it, the grill will flare up and that will prematurely char the crust. And once the sauce is down, I'll drop.
That's a lot of sauce. I know you want that, but that's, I think, too much sauce.
On my crumbled fresh mozzarella. I'm putting down about 125 grams or maybe just over a cup of the stuff that we grated earlier. Next, I'll drop on 8 to 10 leaves of stem-free fresh basil. Then I'll give each leaf of
nice amount of basil.
A little squiggy of olive oil to make sure that it fries on the grill instead of steams. Then
add some pecorino cheese to add extra flavors. You do the pecorino cheese after the sauce.
Lastly, I'll give this pizza a strong pinch of flaky salt to season it up.
My God, okay. You got sugar and you got salt.
Reg salt would also work fine.
When you have salt in the sauce, plus you have a nice mozzarella which is salty, plus you add some pecorino. Honestly, you don't put salt on pizza, guys. If you want to put salt on pizza, you put Parmigiano Reggiano, like Parmesan, but you put pecorino. That's the natural salt that you give to your pizza. Don't use salt.
But the chunky nature of the flake salt really makes the experience of this pizza a lot more dynamic. Okay, that's a pretty looking pizza. I'll just give it a quick shimmy to make sure that it's
I agree, it looks pretty good.
Not stuck to the peel, and it is on the front right here. So I'll hit that with a little bit more semolina flour to make.
See, that's a little semolina that you don't have to use. So if you stretch your pizza with semolina from the start, you're not gonna have that problem. So and then you put the pizza on the pizza peel, and you're good to go. But the other thing you need to keep in mind, you never put the ingredients on the pizza when the pizza is sitting on the pizza peel, especially on the stainless steel pizza peel, okay? So if you're using a timber pizza peel, you can do that. You can actually put the ingredients on top of the pizza and, decorate it while sitting on the timber pizza peel. Because on the timber pizza peel, the pizza bowl doesn't get stuck on it. But if you're using that type of peel, then you use that peel just at the end to get the pizza on the peel and straight in the oven, okay? So I think you're using way too much semolina, sorry.
Certain that this pizza slides off, and then I'll move it outside. Out at the grill, I'll spray the cooler side liberally with olive oil pan spray. Don't be shy, because stuck pizza is very bad.
Don't be shy, no, it's true, don't be shy, but I still prefer to put our foil there and the pizza seeds on the baking paper, which, by the way, you could have stretched the pizza on the baking paper and then add the ingredients on the pizza while sitting on the baking paper, and then slide the pizza for the baking paper around on the foil, so you don't need a pizza peel.
Then I'll carefully load on my pizza. I'll do that as cleanly as I can, trying to maintain a round shape.
I'm just worried about the fire at the bottom, burning bottom of the pizza.
Then I'll let the bottom get to grilling, close the lid, and check back in 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, I'm gonna come back and check
The thing is, every time you open the barbecue, so if you keep the barbecue closed, so you put the oil, spray the oil before, close, get the temperature in the barbecue gets nice and hot, becomes an oven. Then you quickly open it, put the pizza in, close it again, you keep the heat in there, and the heat will help to cook it properly, okay? What you're doing right now, you're just cooking the bottom
of the pizza to make sure that it's not stuck to the grill and make sure that it's not burning. The bottom of this pizza looks sick. It's
It looks thick at the moment, yes, but if you cook it for too long, it will burn.
well set and is taking on some nice grill marks. So I'll rotate it 90 degrees and then keep on cooking for another 3 to 4 minutes. Lid down. And after about 6 to 7 minutes of grill time,
See, the top is not cooked yet. It's because you keep opening it, so the top part is not cooking. So you do want the bottom cooked, yes, but you want the top to cook as well. So how do we do that?
this pizza is looking really good. As you can
The bottom is grilling great. The bottom is cooking perfectly. It's just the top I'm worried about. So if you use the alpha foil and the baking paper, you are avoiding for the bottom to burn. So you can cook it longer. You don't have to turn it because it's not a wood fire. And the reason why you turn the pizza in the pizza oven is because you have the flame coming this way. So you want to make sure that the flame that's every angle. But in this case, you don't have the flame, so you don't need to turn the pizza. Just leave it in there. So what you should have done, protect the bottom, okay, so half foil, baking paper or pizza tray, cook it gently, leave it all closed for maybe 10-15 minutes, so the bottom cooks gently, like that, and the top cooks as well, okay? At the moment, you haven't cooked the top.
see the bottom is charred and full of grill marks, but it's not burnt. One thing that I'll mention about this pizza is because of the high heat bottom, low heat top situation, this is kind of the best color that you can get on the cheese. It won't take on too much browning, but I think it's a worthy trade-off because the bottom of this pizza is honestly, and the flavor of this pizza, you guys, is so unique.
Ooh, that's crunchy. So listen to that again.
And the flavor of this pizza, you guys, is so unique.
Oh my God, that's crunchy. That is crunchy. That's beautiful. I like that.
Woo! You get that char grilled experience from the crust alongside
It's like having a grilled sandwich, put it that way.
the pungent sweet basil and some milky, melty fresh mozzarella. The top of the crust is bready and light and soft, kind of like a Neapolitan, but the bottom is crunchy and crispy.
Well, the Napolitan is soft, but it's crunchy at the same time. So the Napolitan is crunchy, but soft. It's hard to explain. It's a lot of artisan pizza, okay? So you can't really compare it to Napolitan. It is soft, but it's crunchy too, okay? And this is beautiful. Like it's, I call it probably looks like more bread. I guess you did use bread flour. It does look more like bread, like a ciabatta bread, maybe, that you made. But it looks good. I will eat this and enjoy it. But I will definitely remove the sugar. I will definitely remove the tomato paste. And I will definitely remove the salt. But everything else is beautiful. It's a pizza I will enjoy so much. So well done, Brian. The last time I reacted to Brian, he made cacio e pepe using weird ingredients. Oh my God, that was so bad. But hey, bravo. Guys, what do you think of Brian? Did you do a good job? Let me know in the comment below. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I'll see you in the next Vincenzo's Plate reaction video. E ora si mangia. Pizza without salt and without sugar. Thank you.